Okay, well, my name's Yasin I'm the Vice Chair at the Unison branch here at UCL. I'm an elected officer and I'm tasked with representing the views and interests of staff at UCL. So on behalf of my members, I'd like to deliver a message of solidarity at your annual conference, and thank you for the platform to speak. So I've been asked here to talk about how students can support workers in their campaigns and in their struggles. So as you've been hearing, since the global financial crisis, there's been lots of attacks on working people, both in the workplace, on their pensions, on their fair pay, on their working conditions, as well as their social situation, so public services, their housing, their healthcare, etc. So unions, we've been working hard to protect these rights, and as students, I think we do have similar interests. So as students, one day when you do graduate, you will enter the workplace and you will need decent pension, decent terms and conditions of employment. So how can students support workers? So there's a number of ways. So as students, every day you come into contact with staff in libraries, your personal tutors, your lecturers, security staff, cleaning staff. You probably know their names, hopefully. You have one-to-one interactions with them. Hopefully, you can engage with them, have one-to-one contact about how you can join unions. Are you a member of a union? Are you aware of what unions are about? Do you know what they work for? A lot of people sometimes are anti-union. I think a lot of people mean well, but they've been misinformed about what unions actually do. So some of these arguments you can use to say that it's thanks to unions that we have things like the 2-day weekend, having the 8-hour day, maternity leave, paternity leave, retirement, workplace pensions, having paid annual holiday leave, workplace health and safety. All these benefits came as a result of the trade union movement. So hopefully, if you speak to your staff members on campuses and speak to them about joining unions, you've got Unison, you've got UCU and Unite. So they represent all workers across all sort of grades and pay structures. Back in 2013, we saw university staff take strike action over fair pay. So in that sort of scenario, if you could speak to your staff, in the days leading up to those strike dates on those picket lines, if you could speak to your staff, ask them, are they taking part in strike action? Will they be coming to work? If it's a lecture, ask a question in a lecture theatre. Will lectures be taking place next week? I think it's important to encourage staff and to join unions and take part in strike action, because it is in their interests, and by crossing picket lines and going into work when it's an official strike day action, and they are going against their interests. So hopefully, if you have maybe these discussions on a one-to-one basis rather than sort of these large groups, I think sometimes we can make differences and win staff over. And then finally, I think students do have an important role to play when it comes to campaigning. Here at UCL and at SOAS, we've had really good campaigns with student union groups over the London living wage. So there was a time in universities where staff, it was mainly catering staff, cleaning staff, portering staff, they're very poorly paid. And a lot of them were working for the minimum wage. So on £6.50 an hour, it's very difficult to survive in an expensive city like London. So we've had really successful campaigns asking university management to adopt the London living wage, and this is whether it's their cleaners, whether it's their portering. We want all staff as a bare minimum working and adopting a London living wage. So hopefully, maybe when you go back to your universities, your unions, your campuses, if you could ask about the London living wage. Hopefully, there's been a lot of national action over the living wage campaign. But hopefully, if you can go back and get engaged, like motions passed supporting London living wage employers, encouraging your university to become an accredited living wage employer. So there's an organisation called the Living Wage Foundation. And sort of other campaigning issues we've seen here. So we spoke earlier about the 0-hour contracts, but also there's restructurings that take place at a lot of universities. And usually when these restructurings take place, sometimes they're exercises in reducing services and the number of staff. So obviously, you know, as students, that does affect you in terms of, you know, when your services are restricted, ultimately it's you that suffer, and that affects workers as well. When they're made redundant, they don't have jobs and they can't provide for their families. So I hope, you know, students can continue to support campaigns such as you know, living wage campaigns, as well as industrial action, and encouraging workers to join unions and become unionised and organised in their workplaces. Just before I go, I just want to give us a quick plug. So we've got pages on Facebook and Twitter. It's UCL Unison. So if you could do follow us for any updates. At the moment, we're going through proposed changes to the pension scheme for university staff. So there are likely to be disputes and issues around the pension. Thank you very much.